different today. We will look at Gordon-MICHALE Scallion's birth chart, which I rectified, which I'm having quite some expertise in, I would say. I've rectified so many charts, and which overall you will see in the aftermath always if it works, and that's what I will show you now, how his chart is activated right now in 2025. He was born in 1942, so he would be, and I'm sure he still is alive. He is, let me calculate it in my head, 42, that is 82 years old he is. So he predicted these earth changes in the 80s, and he, I don't know how much you know about him, but you can definitely look him up. He's a super controversial man who has definitely delivered something of high importance, regardless if it's going to be manifesting exactly as he predicted or in a milder version, which I hope we have navigated towards. But still, I think, and that's my strong personal belief, and in that sense, yes, I am not absolutely objective. This is not really who I am. I like to focus on something and then see what if it resonates with my expectations, let's put it that way. And usually, if you have it's like being a dog, the sense are pulling you. That's kind of similar in an astrologer's mind, kind of, because everything is constantly in motion, so we have to focus in on the most powerful moments. And one of those is coming up for Gordon-MICHALE Scallion just around April the 1st, when Jupiter by transit will come back onto his ascendant into the first house. So expect, and that's actually really matches at that what I already said, beginning of April, serious signs will be there that earth changes are on our heels. They are just getting fully announced, and that is Dr. CAYCE's prediction, which in my opinion is the marker we have to look for when Mount Etna and Mount Pelée in Martinique will be active at the same time. It doesn't say if anything of catastrophic nature would happen by these two volcanoes being active at the same time. I mean, Mount Pelée has an extremely what's the word here, violent history. In 1902 it killed 40,000 people within seconds by releasing a huge plume of hot gas which would scorch 20 square miles. So this is one of the most dangerous volcanoes to start with. And maybe if I have the time, if I feel like, I will share you some of these charts which I have. It's in itself a science, and it's fascinating to see how each big volcanic eruption we know of, the last 3 or 4, 1815, Tambora, which probably was the largest, and then Krakatau, and then naturally Mount Pelée in 1902. So these eruptions, they give us the signature of what it means. Anyway, that's a totally different story. Let's focus on Gordon-MICHALE Scallion's chart. Gemini rising definitely makes total sense. I mean, his words, his message has been really received. I guess he's become an icon of our times, regardless of what comes out of his predictions, which are definitely on the dark side of the spectrum. as you probably all know, with these maps where pretty much 80% of landmass on our planet is going underwater and other continents coming up, the pole shifting by 16 degrees or something. So we don't really need those extreme measures anymore. We have definitely shifted away from the most dark and dramatic and difficult timeline, because so many people are creating the better energy. It's as simple as that. So it is really a mirror effect of the rising consciousness we see on this planet, regardless of what's still visible. Anyway, let's go back on to this chart. I could say hours and hours on end about this chart. This is a very powerful chart with the black moon in the first house in Cancer. Yes, this is making us aware of the, I would say, the primal fear we all have, which is extreme change. Death being a particular around this group of expressions, but not the only one, naturally. It is also steering through a crisis in emotion. Emotion, that is a big word for Cancer, really where the moon's energy is gripping the most in terms of resonating with us through the water. It's a sign of deep nourishment. It's the connections, the roots, tradition, history, all of that is in Cancer. So this has to be purged. I mean, he is the representation of his message. This chart is his message, because this is I mean, yeah, he has really put himself into the spotlight, and almost I could say the danger of being sacrificed by public opinion and all of that. I guess he has certainly experienced that. His chart speaks of it, with Chiron here as the planet most at the root in Leo. He is really the hero. It's interesting that this Chiron in Leo resonates with the Lord of the Rings author. Yes, you know whom I'm talking about. A word fell out of my mind right now, but Tolkien. It's that Tolkien energy of powerful heroes who are literally setting the world on fire in a way, at least mentally he sure did by his message. I guess everybody who's come across it says wow. And just knowing that this is around this prediction, and as I showed you, it really links in with the predictions which came out of the Philadelphia experiment, the wormhole we created with the future into 2137 and even beyond 2749. Anyway, it sounds fantastical, too good to believe in a way, but there is series of books written by authors who had worked on the same theme and pretty much woken up around the same time. I mean, these events happened in 1943, these people have been young and then they came to age. 1983 is critically important, but 89 was really the let me say that right, yes, 83. So these people, by the time expected, they knew historically that this has happened. So that was a really most interesting paradox. There were people who were present when it happened. They were already aware of the future it would lead to. There was it was like a big suspension was built into this potential timeline. Anyway, Scallion's chart really resonates with that same idea. Look at Neptune, Sun, Mars conjunction here in Libra, intercepted in the 5th house. So his message was definitely of the deluge, of the, or is that, yeah, I mean, just all the water which he describes resonates also with the black moon as being his 1st house planet, his only one. Anyway, Jupiter is definitely a planet which is really well placed in his chart in the 2nd house, meaning a material abundance. This is the easiest sign to see when Jupiter is not afflicted, but in his chart it's linked in with Sedna, interestingly in the 11th house. So Sedna has to do with that earth change energy. It's a very deep rumbling, this really amazing little planet. 11,000 years it takes to once around the sun. Just now coming in to the inner solar system for this century. Sedna brings the energy of the deep to life, and it's actually interesting that this year particularly we have that we have Sedna now by transit in Gemini. You see, that's how little it moved in 82 years. It's now here in conjunction with Uranus, who is here pretty dead on the equatorial ascendant of Gordon-MICHALE Scallion. So definitely rings another big bell that the equatorial ascendant is his influence on the planetary scale. That's literally what it means. The equatorial ascendant is when you are kind of going up one level, when you're not just being identified with your physical body, but with the whole body of Earth. So when you have particularly that aura, that influence of a person like Gordon-MICHALE Scallion, then this is a super important point, and that is where Uranus is, as we all know. Uranus turning direct just in a few days on the 30th. We are really opening in a whole new warp speed, I would almost want to say. Everything moves so extremely fast in evolutionary terms. So many things are happening. So many things are breaking open. Just the last 7 days. You know it, I know it. It's beautiful that it happens, but that kind of spiraling energy getting ever faster is literally what also triggers these big shifts and changes in the Earth's body. Yeah, it's a conflict resolution. They call that in Germanic healing knowledge. My wife studies Germanic healing knowledge, a very powerful thing to research in itself, but it is when we suffer through a conflict. And the conflict definitely has been happening historically many times. So there's lots of conflicts. And when we are on our way to healing, we're going towards a resolution. But the resolution most often kills the patient when it happens, because there's too much energy at once, which then streams through the system. So most often people who have that conflict resolution are passing away. Heart attack, stroke, these are probably the most obvious expressions when the nervous system is getting fried in a way, too much energy coming in at once, you can't handle that, that's overwhelming, and then you're shutting down. That's kind of how it goes. Anyway, if you have that capacity to receive that much energy, then this will be a different experience. Anyway, I'm really getting off track here. Let me just show you the secondary progressions now, because I really want to keep this video concise, just a little bit on the short side. We can go deeper into Gordon-Michael Scallion, into his birth chart, maybe in a further episode if I'm feeling like it. Sorry, that's who I am. I have always enjoyed that freedom to do what I like and don't what I don't. Anyway, I'm getting off track here. So this is his secondary progressions, Gordon-Michael Scallion. This is just now the animated feature I have here in Solar Fire, so I can play with that. So this is 1st of April. Right now, let's go back to 1st of February. Let's here put in months terms, then you see where he's now. Okay, let's go months. Okay, this is now for 1st of February. The moon at 9:30 here in Taurus. That is here in the 12th house, coming out of his 3rd lunar return. This is a powerful place the moon is in as it reaches the progressed mid-heaven in the 12th house. So this is a culmination actually, it's easy to see. And the moon moves 1 degree per month. So in 2 months and a bit, this is 1st of April, 1st of May, yeah, then it's in full force, that it is obvious that some big shit is starting to manifest. Sorry. Yeah, it will be a time extremely difficult, really like a birth. I mean, this is can be a bloody mess, to be honest. Yeah, so we have to be prepared, we have to hold the ground, we have to be compassionate. That's really the most important part. To be humane, to really come from the heart and not from any of the concepts of mental orientation or even, that is actually the real upside of what happens. It brings people together. The ascendant in his progressions are just past the 4th house cusp, 21st degree Leo. Yeah, again, to say that this is kind of in a nutshell, his mission, that Jupiter and Black Moon in Cancer, that deep, painful crisis we have to navigate through in order to be reborn, literally. It is a huge process Earth is going through. Really, that's his message, and he just has now come to harvest, finally, to harness, to get the confirmation, to get the respect he deserves, really, as a channel of wisdom, of what will potentially where we're going toward. Yes, it is always till the last minute, everything is in constant motion. I really like that quote by Yoda in the first Star Wars movie. Yes, the future is in constant motion. There's always many possibilities, yeah, which is good, which keeps it suspenseful, I guess. That's the word I'm looking for. Anyway, I really don't want to go too deep, but if you're an astrologer, please do look close into this chart. I mean, just even this here is telling you it's coming in line. Yes, Saturn and Saturn and Uranus here. This is the earthquakes and the shake-up, and it is in opposition to Mars in Sagittarius, which is a warrior energy and complete passion to go in the direction we are meant to go. In a way, it also shows the way it is for us at best to be experienced. He kind of is an archetype on that too, because I mean, just imagine if you had to receive such an enormously depressing message to be shared with the world. 80% will be below the ocean. Just think of all the millions and billions of people who might perish in such a enormous event, really impossible in its expanse to really truly be known. It is really oceanic. Again, that black moon and Jupiter come in abundance. Darkness in abundance, really deep in the darkness of the womb. So yes, I mean, if my rectification of his chart is correct, then this is what's happening. He will start being honored as the one who's giving us the warning, and that it would be at some point. And again, he's just saying the same as these other sources I have quoted in my earlier video. Please watch that one. This really builds the base of my strong belief in that sense that something is on its way. There's too many signs. And I'm just showing you fractals here, certain angles where you see the reflection even most precise, and can actually then also time it to when it's most exalted, and it's most directly able to bring these energies into flow, into motion. Interesting, the sun by progression here is approaching the galactic center, which is at 2711 right now. So about a bit more than a year to go here from the May 1st, 2025, for him truly being recognized as the pioneer in imagination and in manifestation even too, because I mean it works on multiple levels. That's the danger of a prediction. It can really then loop back and become a wormhole almost for it to fail. I mean, that's the whole thing. Anyway, yeah, you will find tons and tons of more clear sounds if you can go deeper into the chart. But I will leave it at this, and if you like this, please share it. And I'm looking forward to go deeper into his chart and the related ones too, but I want to keep it kind of shorter this time. Thanks again for being here and listening. It's always a pleasure in the end when I finally do it.